Welcome back, everyone. My name is Christopher, and this is During Business Hours. All right, personal story time. I think I posted to IG, Facebook, Instagram, quite a few places. If you didn't know, follow me there during business hours or at Christopher Love. And so today I had the dismissal of a lifetime. 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old ticket that I had a failure to appear on, supposedly 9 times, 9 different instances, every 6 months basically, until they mailed it out. Numerous tickets, citations, contact attempts, nothing was in my name. The only reason I knew this existed was once I got pulled over in 2020, or actually 2019, and decided to get my license back because I had my license revoked for a DUI from 2010. So earlier story time. I got cited for driving under the influence or operating a motor vehicle under the influence because of being a passenger of my vehicle involved in an accident. And I was underage at the time. So during my accident, I tried to help the tow truck driver by turning the vehicle's wheel and starting the ignition. I knew I was under the influence, but the cop pulled up at the time while I was in possession of the keys. Witnesses said he wasn't the driver, but he helped operate the vehicle for the tow truck driver. Therefore, Bob's uncle, night in jail. They revoked the license, did the class, all the fun stuff for the DUI and the house arrest, 45 days. It's 30 days, and they let you go back in 2011. After all this, I did not go back to get my license because I didn't have a car at the time because the frame damage was expensive. I did not have the money for the license. I was on drugs post the DUI. And then I decided, well, fuck it. I'll just drive without a license. It's cheaper. A number of years later, I get my license back. Once I got this ticket in 2019, I was like, well, I got to go do DUI class and an IID. So I drove for what was supposed to be 3 months with an IID after my 5 years probation or whatever was up from 2010 to 2015. And so when I got pulled over, they didn't write me a ticket in 2019. They just said, hey, you have a summons from 2014. Never got pulled over in 2014, never 13, never got a ticket. They said it was on a motorcycle in the backwoods, that they didn't have the information on file, so everything to the driver's license number that was given is what they cited to. I argued it wasn't me. They didn't care. They tried to get 5-year informal probation, up to 30 days in jail, $5,000 fine. I was like, well, the moment I got pulled over and got this ticket, I went, spent 3 months, paid the thousands of dollars, got my license back. So by the time, because COVID had hit, that they got that ticket cited and went to court, I had already had my license back. So they threw out the ticket from 2020 original hearing. Threw out the first ticket, made me pay a driving on, I think, a corrective fine. Yeah, it was a corrective fine, like $200. Awesome. Now on to when I went to court that time, I was like, well, it says I have a ticket for 2013, 2014, failure to appears, etc. They're like, yeah, this is the big one. This is upgraded to a felony evading. What? So the DA would not take a deal on this, not look into it, wouldn't do anything. To my surprise, kept offering 5-year probation, 30 days in jail, and a $5,000 fine. No, I'm not the one doing it. So why are you trying to put it on me? But you can't say these words in a courtroom over Zoom. So we went back and back and back and back until finally Dennis Patel, the public defender, finally got assigned to me the day before yesterday. Mind you, I've already spoken to the DA 4 other times about this. And finally threw out the case. In the interest of justice, we're going to dismiss this case. So a court case spanning 9 years, almost 9.5 years, finally got dismissed. And for all of that, I only had to pay 1 red cent for getting pulled over in 2019. Goes to show, when you cooperate with the system, good things happen. They try to scare you, use bully tactics for sure. Boy, I really thought I was going to have to spend a night in jail. It was shitty. It was absolutely horrible. I kept telling my wife, we're going to Oklahoma on Thursday through Wednesday, but I'll probably be in jail the night before. And you can pick me up, we'll go to the hotel, we'll do everything. There's nothing much. I've already accepted it. Then I get a call from the DA, and he's like, "Oh, listen, let me see if I can talk to Mulhaney or whatever the DA's name is and see if we can get this dismissed." So after this morning, I started looking into fraudulent tickets. And boy, I was fucking surprised. There's places that are absolutely cops giving fake tickets. Sacramento, there's hundreds of statements about this. It is horrible. So you can file, there's a bunch of unlawful misconduct cases and things like that. Unlawful detainers, false arrests, excessive force, etc. Misconduct, perjury, remedies for police misconduct, file a complaint with police, evidence through misconduct in court, 83 claim, Bivens lawsuit. So basically, what I kept thinking after they actually just dropped this was they absolutely must know that they cannot get the evidence against me for the 2013 ticket. Because I asked to speak to the cop or to see my signature on a ticket multiple times. And they kept saying, all right, we'll push this out, we'll bring it back. Push this out, we'll bring it back. And then it was me and the DA, and here's my offer. Here's my offer. Here's my offer. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not going to say I'm guilty. I did the whole no contest thing when I got the driving under the influence or operating a motor vehicle under the influence dismissed anyway. But I pled no contest to that to get other things handled. And it was just easier at the time. So it is 2014. They're saying that it was in the back roads of Citrus Heights. I don't remember. I don't know why I don't remember. But I started this business, the electronics business, in 2014. And I remember a lot of things, but I don't remember getting a ticket on a motorcycle. And I owned a motorcycle, but the only time I remember speaking to a cop was a parked motorcycle on Sunrise when people were racing. And he apparently was going through Sunrise Boulevard asking a bunch of people if he saw any of them racing. But I didn't get a ticket for racing. I spoke to a cop. He didn't ask for ID, nothing. So unless he mailed me a ticket to an address that was on file for the bike, which the bike wasn't in my name. And the person whose name it was my father, and it wasn't sent to him either. He would have notified me. Any registration info, all that got sent to me. I paid him for it. He registered it for me. Legalities handled to the degree. But man, I can't believe it took me a year and a half to handle court in Sacramento. Just don't do stupid shit. I understand I fought the system for so long. I got out scot-free. I am a lucky case. Those who did not get lucky get the book thrown at them. And they tried to throw the book at me, but I have a bit of privilege where I'm established that I don't have to be weary about going to jail, because if I do, I know that I'll be fine and get out. You know what I mean? I don't have that stigma. A lot of people think, oh shit, I'm going to jail. My life is over. 3 days in jail for some petty crime or petty thing they do that they're associated with is going to destroy things. Me, I know people fuck up and they overcome that often. And I know for a moment there, I was thinking I'm going to jail for the night. I'll definitely do a day in jail or up to a week in jail. And I think half time is like 3.5 days or 3 days they give you. But boy, the offers they were giving me, I'm like, I'm not paying $5,000 for a ticket I have no idea about. And you're not going to tell me in 8 years I've blacked out an entire scene. And they had details for this that they would have had to have been there. It sounded like I got pulled over for not having a license on a motorcycle, and that's not an option to pull somebody over for. So was I speeding or doing something illegal and then got pulled over? Or did this cop send in a ticket after a conversation with me without my signature or information to the wrong address for the wrong registered person just to fill a quota? That's where the police misconduct page here comes in. My concern was, are they filling a quota back then? Because this shit is crazy. So it goes into my next question, which is, have any of you ever seen state or First Amendment auditors? Now, I may, file something with police misconduct thing that's going on in California, because the fear was real. I definitely was in fear that I was going to go to jail for a little while over something that wasn't me, even though if I hired a lawyer on it, wasted that money, he probably could have got it done faster, but I didn't ever feel the threat to my being that drastic to hire a $10,000 attorney. So for me, they threw it out after I was like, well, let's get to it. Let's get to the facts. I'll go to trial. I was very adamant about it. I was like, no, this is not me. Or they've done something wrong and we can prove it in court. I personally believe in the justice system. So in the eyes of justice, I was innocent. So they dismissed it in the eyes of justice. But the fun part is stuff like this. First Amendment auditors can be a real pain in the ass, and they aim to fuck with the officers. So I understand why some of these officers come out of the gate like, oh, you piece of shit, you're just here to fuck my day up. I get customers like this often on the retail side of things, where they're just out there to pick at you to get their way. And I feel like First Amendment auditors are those people. I understand why they are vital and they're needed. Keeps cops in check. For the average walkabout or person, keeps them on their toes. You never know. It's like a secret shopper. The idea of a secret shopper, doesn't matter what type of retail you're in, is everywhere. But this type of secret shopping, which is your First Amendment auditors, are ruthless. And let's look over this new one here.
They call themselves First Amendment auditors and citizen journalists. They're on social media and known for getting in people's faces. Well, now the state is instructing its 50,000 employees on how to respond to these types of verbal attacks. But we also wanted to hear from the people responsible for these so-called fraudits. So tonight, a popular social media star is opening up to 7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner about what's at stake.
Please don't.
Oh, they're grabbing me. They're grabbing me. Am I being detained?
Hey, don't grab me, dude. Get out of here. I want to too.
You made contact with me. What's your name and badge number, officer?
Hey, do you want to tell me your name? Because I'll be happy to help you out.
There you go, guys. The walk of shame.
Freedom News Now has been posting videos for several years. The person behind it, Justin McDermott.
There has never been a better time than now to do your First Amendment audit.
Can you tell me what you're doing? Anything? We had somebody calling about you being out here.
This video is from 2017. McDermott is outside the Warren Tank Plant, a federal contractor. He's wearing a full face mask long before COVID, refusing to answer questions about who he is, why he's there, and if he has any weapons.
I mean, these people present themselves. I mean, officers are killed in the line of duty, trying to do exactly what Officer Reed and those officers were doing.
Are they asking legitimate questions?
Depends on.
Oftentimes they are legitimate questions, and I'm okay with questions from officers, and my auditing style has changed throughout the years.
There's absolutely no doubt that he was attempting to provoke the officers.
Stop, man, please don't.
Oh, they're grabbing me. They're grabbing me. Am I being detained?
The police commissioner says the plan can be to get even more.
File a lawsuit. They're going to get a settlement from a city. They're possibly going to get the officer terminated.
The trend prompted this email to go out to 50,000 state employees, telling them how to uphold the general rights of the public while remaining vigilant for suspicious behavior. The email continues. The encounters often include behavior that's designed to provoke a reaction that could be viewed as a violation of First Amendment rights. Do you believe that some behavior is deliberately provocative?
I'm gonna look at Freedom News Network. Cops fail audits. Shorts. Let's see. Because a lot of these do bait officers.
A Utica detective has been suspended. Seen more than
those when it goes
I just want to see the Utica detective.
driver upset about two men filming with their cameras.
Nobody's threatening you.
So he pulls over and calls Utica police. Those two men are with Frickin' Media, a group of self-proclaimed auditors of police behavior that makes no secret about being controversial. When Utica Police Detective Sergeant Greg Morabito arrived on this scene, things immediately escalated.
We didn't call you.
I don't answer your question. He did.
Okay, we'll go talk to him.
No, I'm going to be talking.
No, you're not going to talk to me.
Yeah,
You ain't going to talk. You ain't going to talk to me at all. I ain't got to say to you. Not nothing. So go talk to the guy that called you. Isn't that procedure?
Morabito, who is Utica's officer who deals with the media, clearly gets flustered by the two men's profanity and insults.
Bunch of tyrants.
Leading to this confrontation.
Yeah, I'm coming for your job.
Come for it.
I am. I'm coming for your job. I'm coming for your job.
After more shouting at each other, police clear the scene, but the men go to the Utica Police Department to file a complaint.
If you do not leave now, you'll be arrested.
And after refusing to leave, Morabito arrests the man for disorderly conduct.
You're done. You're under arrest.
Steve Jones is the man that was taken into custody from land.
Yeah, so things like that, that's above and beyond. Now, I've high respect for cops, absolutely, but the level of shit they get from some of these guys that are just very, very self-entitled, like this is my right, and I'm just going to instigate a problem to see if I can light a match and spark the powder keg. Now, this was going on before COVID, before the protests, before the incidents, when, and I will say there was already problems with cops before then. So this has been going on in media, social media, a long time. First Amendment audits. But there's a really cool channel I want to give a shout out to. Where is it? Audit the Audit. So he audits people doing audits and recording their audits. And he does some real good shit. He's got, I think, a couple million followers.
Welcome to Audit the Audit.
Yeah, 1.57 million. What he did, and the only reason I knew him before I was podcasting, before I was doing social media and whatnot, see, here's the suspended guy 1 month ago. He did a video on a guy called John Felix. Where is it? John Felix. This guy, he's got 250,000 subs. And this is the 19 million views I watched. And he advertises his insurance, or legal insurance. So I bought his legal insurance, and I made a claim because I got sued that year, 2014, 2015. This guy saved my ass. Absolutely. I had no idea how to deal with the court system, legal system, small claims, etc. $300 covered me for a year. It was good money spent. Through that, I learned a lot. And me and John have talked a couple of times since. I sponsored one of his videos. This is before I was doing podcasts, etc. But man, does he does a lot of videos. He does a lot of First Amendment audits and stuff like that. He gets a couple thousand views per video. Boy. What is it? Audit the Audit, the ultimate frauditor, condones, etc. Violence against peaceful people. So him and John Felix started battling. And I started watching Audit the Audit because of him. Unintentionally, I think he gave me a pathway to watch Audit the Audit. Even though he hates him, I think his content is good. I don't care if, like I said, I may not endorse Trump as a person, but I endorsed some of the policies that he had laid out. So it's one of those things where I like the content. I don't know the person, so I can't say if it's bad, keeping the middle ground there, because I like John. He's a cool guy. But man, there's a lot of stuff here. And he's constantly posting, so consistency is key. Not like me, once every 2 weeks. But yeah, dealing with some co-host issues. Yeah. So let me know if you guys like the solo podcast more than the co-host podcasts. This is one of those video format podcasts that I have not been uploading the audio only, just because it's a little more work, and the guys who do the editing for me, giving them access to the entire back end is a little harder than, they're in different countries. So yeah, this guy looks like he's wild. If you had just seen this guy's page, you'd be like, holy shit, he looks psychotic from some of these, live debate with Facebook leftist Billy Rick. Flashlight giveaway. Journalist claims I'm not a journalist. Two can play at that game. Let's go all the way down. I thought I was in control. Both violators. Yes or no? Cop trespasses girl for wearing short shorts. Cop gets on the job training from Auditing America. Yeah. So, point being, there's some decent people, behind the scenes of some of these things, but some are just instigators. I don't think John's an instigator. He definitely finds some real world stuff and he latches onto it. But yeah, that's it. See how all of these donut operator, he got into a fight with Donut 3 years ago. He got into a fight with it. Now, last bit of things I want to talk about. Did anybody, this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but like I said, did anybody see the Mr. Beast Ludwig $1 Million poker game? Now, there was some real drama that this Miss Botez, who was a chess player, won close to $750,000 and then got down to $500,000, took off and ran. And then there is the dumbest player in the world, Mr. Beast. Somehow got some high money after losing $300,000, but he is so rich with his 30 YouTube channels and 500 million subscribers across all platforms that he has the ability to just throw away $350,000. Yeah. XQC had lost $200,000. And then Mr. Beast called out Phil Hellmuth as a cheater, but he didn't really call him out. There's all kinds of fun little things.
I'm not going to blind all in.
50.
I don't have 25-6.
You have to. I think 25-6.
Blind all in?
Maybe. Okay.
Do you think I blind all in?
No, I don't think you blind all in. No, do it for the memes. Why not? Do it for the memes. It's a good clip. You blind all in, you win this much? Look at the pot that you win.
This is a $25,600 straddle for Mr. Beast. He's had enough.
You straddled 26,000.
I'm all in.
Are you all in?
About 55,000.
And this is something
basically all these people go all in. It's fun money to them. And so 3 aces. Mr. Beast has got Queen 5. $81,000 on Queen 5 one time.
Everyone but me. Everyone. Hey, I'm calling it right now. This is a queen. I'm calling 3 8.
And if he would have hit a queen here, he would have won $600,000.
Botez is going to break the game.
But yeah, so it's quite a bit of money. Everyone knows Phil didn't cheat. You have to look into that yourself. But yeah, basically he is throwing away as much money as possible, as fast as possible. And it really, everyone's pissed about the game. Yeah, Phil DeFranco. I feel like Phil DeFranco is like the most leftist, biased internet personality, but that's my opinion. Hey, Phil, if you want to get me on, I'll talk to you why I feel that way. This is called Only Friends episode 26 stream recap. Yeah, but basically Mr. Beast doesn't care. He makes millions of dollars a month. And he claims it all goes back to his videos. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so at all. Sykkuno is now on YouTube Gaming. All the streamers. Fun times. But that'll be it for the show today. I appreciate you all listening to my story, how I beat an 8-year prison sentence. Or 8 years, sorry. 8-year driving without a license ticket that apparently wasn't me, which is great. But the threats of the DA and their bullying is very real. Like I said, I'll follow up if I end up making a complaint or joining their little Sacramento lawsuit. It seems like it happens to a lot of people, and then 4 or 5 years later, they get hit with a fine, and most people cave to it. But they're like, well, I could have. Well, that address is kind of vague. Oh, maybe. And that's where it gets them. But if you stand strong, if you know what you know, follow through. All right, everybody. Catch you later in the next episode of During Business Hours.